is showtime for Ask a Clutter Boss. Thank you so much. Oh, good morning, Marian Mitzi. Thank you so much for going along with our schedule change this week. Normally, Ask a Clutter Boss is on Tuesdays. This week, we had to switch to Wednesday, so I appreciate you all being here and and dealing with our little schedule change so well. So thank you so much. This is the internet's best weekly decluttering advice show. And we have 5 questions to get through today. And I really love these questions as usual. Why I gotta get this hair out of my, everything's opposite on the screen here. It's very confusing. 5 great questions. I think what makes them so good is they're very relatable. When you hear these questions, you're going to instantly be able to relate your own life to the questions. And I love it when those questions are relatable. Okay, so without further ado, let's dive right in. Good morning, Terry. Good morning, Suzanne. Question number 1. And if you relate to this, just let us know in the comments, because I think when we share that we relate to a question, or we share that we have a similar struggle, it helps us all know that we're not alone. And that's really important when it comes to decluttering. You're not alone. You're not alone. Your unique scenario is unique to you, but it has common facets with everyone else's scenarios. And knowing that we're not alone is a real big propeller to moving forward. Good morning, Amy and Linda. So question number 1, how do we part with things that we would like to use? For example, pretty serving platters, but realistically, my entertaining days are pretty much over, except for 1 to 3 people, not 20. This is a great question. So can you relate to this? I have something from my old identity, the person that I used to be, and I still love it, but it's not practical. It doesn't fit into my life anymore. How do I part with those things? I think a lot of this is just getting your heart and your head to be in the same place. So we'll start with your head. We know, and I mean, even in the question, you commented, my entertaining days are pretty much over, except for 1 to 3 people, not 20. Part of this is just acceptance. Things change. We change as people. The communities that we're in change. The family situations that we're in change. We're always changing and evolving. And that is not a bad thing. When you have these pretty serving platters that represent a time when you did entertain a lot of people, can you just sit in that moment and just love on that person who did that, who, really appreciate everything that you, every aspect of your personality that shaped the person that you are today, and come to terms with the fact that it's okay to move on. It's okay to let go of these pretty serving platters. And maybe there's somebody out there that will really love these beautiful serving platters, who is at that point in life where they are entertaining and a lot of people. And it would be awesome for them to be the recipient of these serving platters. Take some pictures, take some time to really just walk down that memory lane, appreciate the time that you had entertaining lots of people, remember it, and kind of feel the energy moving, shifting. Feel the power of letting go to somebody who will love to receive. And then let go. And once you let go of something that is an anchor in a past identity, and just an anchor in the past, it's amazing how much space you're making for right now. Because the reality is, we need to support our lives. The stuff in our house needs to be supportive of our lives right now. And when you're hanging on to stuff that's not supporting your life right now, it's not reflective of your life right now, you're really just hurting the person that you are today. You're not hurting, but you're holding back. You're holding that person back from fully living in the time that they're in right now. Then that's you. You're the person, right? So let me know if this is making sense. When you're hanging on to these things from the past, you're taking away your ability to be fully in the present. And time is our most valuable resource. We never get our time back. So anything that you can do to really create an environment in your home that supports who you are today, who you are today, and helps you wake up every day and fully be in this day. That is the best gift that you can give yourself because you're really giving yourself this time to be here and be fully present. So you can always take a picture, let go of the stuff, pass it on because you're giving your current self a huge gift, time and space to exist right now. And right now is what we have. That is what we have. All right. Totally. Everyone can totally relate. We have a lots of I can totally relate comments in here. It was a great question. Thank you so much for submitting it. Question number 2. And once again, if this is a relatable question, let us know in the comments. Any tips to create manageable cleaning schedule that fits into my hectic life? So when we're talking about cleaning, this is a decluttering advice show, but there's a huge overlap with cleaning because the more clutter you have, the harder it is to clean. So if you're trying to create a cleaning schedule and you have clutter, it's going to just be that much harder. So the number one thing to creating a cleaning schedule is to plan to declutter as much as possible. Number 2, I would get really solid on your maintenance, your everyday things. A lot of cleaning is taking care of things on a daily basis. Dishes, laundry, whatever mess is being generated on a daily basis, it needs to be tackled on a daily basis. I was actually talking to one of my clients about mail. If you have a lot of mail coming in and it's piling up every day and you're not getting to it, and you had a plan to tackle it weekly, you might need to start to tackle it daily because weekly isn't working. If you miss a week, if you have a weekly schedule, you're out 2 weeks then. If you miss a day on a daily schedule, you're only missing out on, you're only behind by 1 day then. So the more frequently that you can do things, the better. And when it comes to cleaning, start with your daily habits. Getting your dishes done every single day, totally done, totally put away. Getting your laundry done every single day, small loads every day, if that's something that you can do, if you have access to a washer and dryer. Small loads every day, so much easier than letting it all pile up and pile up and pile up. Clearing off the counter every day, every single day. Those basic things that you do, those daily habits, are going to help with the big clean so much because one of the hardest things about cleaning is that you have to put stuff away before you clean. So, right, if you have cleaning people, and by the way, if you have a job outside your home and you're working full-time or, part-time, you should definitely consider hiring cleaning people too, because giving yourself the gift of a service is huge. It's huge. But when it comes to cleaning, before you say you have a cleaner coming over, you have to clean for the cleaners, right? People complain, I have to clean for the cleaners. You're not really cleaning. You're picking up and putting away. And picking up and putting away is a huge thing that can take away from your cleaning time. So when you develop these habits of picking up and putting away on a daily basis, and then it is time to clean, you don't have to spend the time picking up and putting away. You can just dive into the cleaning. So much of our thinking around cleaning is how hard it is, how time consuming it is. Is it really the cleaning that is time consuming, or is it the stuff that is in the way of the cleaning? And I would say 99.9% of the time, it is the stuff that is in the way of the cleaning. So if you develop those daily habits to maintain your spaces, dishes, laundry, pick up and put away, 20-minute, I call it the 20-minute quick clean. It's just 20 minutes of putting stuff away every day. Then if you do have to clean, you just clean. That's it. There's nothing in the way, and it makes life so much easier. If you have kids in your house, they need to be helping you out, period. I'm taking a stronger and stronger stance on living with other people, living with children. Children need to pick up and put away their stuff. They need to be responsible for themselves. They, of course, with the guidance and support of you, but do as a and I can see that the person who submitted this is a female. We can't do it all, ladies. We cannot do it all. We cannot pick up, put away, clean, be on top of schedules, be working. We cannot do it all. Everybody needs to pitch in and help out, period. If you have children in the house, they can pick up after themselves, they can do their own laundry, they can help with the dishes, and they should be, because we can't do it all. And if we're in this position where we have to do it all, our mental health starts to suffer, and then everything starts to unravel. So if you live with children, get them involved. If you have a significant other, try and get the significant other involved. Also, I know that can come into like some relationship situations and whatever, but anything you can do to advocate for more help around the house is huge, because I can tell you for sure, even though we have been told that we can be everything, we can't and we shouldn't try. What we can do is really harness the support of other people in our lives, in our homes, and get them on board with picking up and putting away. But okay, long answer, kind of deviated at the end there. Terry says, cleaning is so much easier in the areas I have decluttered. It's almost enjoyable. Yes, I think the goal is to get cleaning to a point where it's almost enjoyable. I love that. And then when you have it at that point of almost enjoyable, put on some great music, get into a zone, and then it actually can become sort of fun. So we can go to almost enjoyable to sort of fun. And then it's something you look forward to because you're giving yourself a gift. Once again, decluttering and cleaning is gifting you with a clean house, more time, and a space that is nurturing you right now. Question number 3 is kind of similar here. How do I stay organized with so many daily responsibilities? I love a good old-fashioned checklist. If you have daily responsibilities, especially if they are recurring, put them onto a checklist every day. Do as much as you can first thing. This is what we call front-loading your day. If you have daily responsibilities, do as much as you possibly can first thing in your day. Check off as many of those daily responsibilities as humanly possible before you go on to anything else. Now, if you work, if you're out of the house, if you have responsibilities that take you out of the house, as soon as you get home, front load that time. Try and get as many of your responsibilities out of the way as soon as you possibly can. And just check them off every day. This is developing habits. The longer you put something off in your day, the harder it is to accomplish and the more it weighs on you. I mean, again, in the comments, have you been in a situation where you have something to do and you're like, oh, I have, 7 more hours, I can get that done. And then your day is moving on. You're like, I still have time. I still have 3 hours. I can still do this before I go to bed. And then you're 15 minutes before you're supposed to be going to bed. You haven't done the thing. You're frustrated. You're annoyed with yourself. You put off going to bed just to get this thing done. You're racing around and getting all energized right before bedtime. It's not a great situation. Just get it done first thing. Force yourself into the habit of doing anything that you can, any daily responsibility or must do or thing you've been putting off. Do that first. Do that first. And if you find yourself just grabbing your phone first thing in the morning, put your phone away. You don't need to look at it before doing your other stuff. Charge it someplace else. Picking up your phone is one of the biggest ways that you can interrupt your flow of getting stuff done. So get that phone out of there. Just don't touch it. You're not missing out on anything for 15 minutes. I promise you, the world will not come to an end if you do not look at your phone for 15 minutes. And if it does, there's nothing you can do to change that either. So put your phone away. Put your phones away. I'm talking to myself also with this one because I've been really struggling with my phone lately and I have to set some serious boundaries. So get the phones out of there. Do what you can first thing and just check off your list every day. First thing. Front load your day. Okay, I have 4 containers full of stuffed animals for one small dog. What would be a reasonable amount of toys to keep? Nobody can tell you how many toys you should have for your dog. Only you can decide that. It depends on how much space you have, how much your dog plays with the toys, how much joy it brings you to have those dog toys. So if you have space for 4 containers of stuffed animals for your dog, and it's not creating clutter, it's not getting in the way of your cleaning, your dog is loving every single one of those stuffed animals, and you're more importantly, you're enjoying having those stuffed animals, keep them. Keep them. But, and here's the big caveat, you need to have space for your collections, period. And we don't mean floor space. You need to have a real, legitimate storage space in your house for the stuff that you choose to keep. So if you want this collection of animal toys, you love it so much, it's your favorite thing. You love watching the dog play. You love, the dog is like everything to you, which I totally get. I'm a big dog person. But you're storing these containers on the floor in the living room. It doesn't look that great. It's hard to vacuum around. It's not really good storage. You need to make sure that your collections fit in your storage space. So other things need to go if you don't have adequate storage for these items. As a side note, I have seen many of my clients decide they need to declutter some of their dog or cat toys. So they'll throw all the toys to the dog and see which ones are retrieved. And those are the ones that get to stay. So you can your dog can help you decide what their favorite toys are. My dog plays with only 2 and my husband keeps buying more. We already donated 2 bags of them. Yeah, I mean, as long as you're, flowing them through your house, they come in, the dog doesn't play with them, and then they go out. I think that's great. It's when you kind of get stuck just buying stuff and there's no use for it, and then it sits in your house forever. So having that flow, if you have stuff coming in, stuff needs to be going out. That's really important. So thank you for sharing that, Yelena. Okay, last question here. And I think this is a point where a lot of people get really stuck. I have been decluttering for a few years with your groups, and I'm happy to say that my main floor is better than it's ever been before. Congratulations. I am moving on to my upstairs and basement next. The only area on my main floor that is still cluttered is my temporary chaos, which is mostly piled on my dining room table and along a wall in the dining room. I want to actually fully finish up the main area, but the temporary chaos belongs in spaces upstairs or in the basement that have not been decluttered yet. So I really can't put that stuff away. Any idea how to get past this sticking point? Yes, this is a great question. Temporary chaos happens when you start decluttering, you pull out a box or a bin, it is full of commingled stuff, right? Many different things all thrown together in a box or a bin. And in order to declutter and get organized, you have to sort that stuff out. You have to put it with its like items. You have to categorize it. And then you have to create storage for each category. And this process creates what we call temporary chaos. It is a mess. It is messier than it was before you started. It feels bad. And you have run into a lot of dead ends because you have a collection here, but you don't have a storage space for it because you have not yet decluttered that area where it should go. So the temporary chaos just lingers and lingers and lingers. And really, you have to get through your whole house before you have a spot for temporary chaos. In this case, I would highly encourage you to move those categories of items that are on your dining room table and piled up on the floor against the wall in the dining room. Actually put them where they're going to go. So get them out of the dining room. If you have stuff that's going to go upstairs, bring it upstairs and put it as close to possible, as close as you can, as close as you possibly can to what you think its final home is going to be. So let's say you have linens on your dining room table and you have a linen closet upstairs. But you haven't decluttered the linen closet. There's no space for these linens to fit in. Take those linens and put them near that linen closet. That way, when you go to declutter the linen closet, all of the linens that you have found so far are right there, ready for you to go through. You don't have to go back to the temporary chaos. You don't have to pull stuff from all different spots. It's all right there. And you may find as you're putting your temporary chaos close to where it needs to be, ultimately, that there's an awful lot of something. Like you didn't really realize how much of this one collection you had because it's been scattered all over the place for so long. But when you start pulling the temporary chaos and putting it where it should go ultimately, all of a sudden, let's just go with the linen closet. All of a sudden, you see piles and piles and piles of linens. And that's a signal. I could probably go through this linen closet stuff right now, really quickly. I obviously have, 2 times the amount that's going to fit in there. So let me see what I can just get rid of quick pass right now. And you'll declutter that stuff really quickly, at least do one pass through and make some progress there. So yeah, temporary chaos is often a roadblock for so many people when they declutter because we have too much stuff for our space. And the only way to get through it is to keep moving forward, but it takes a really long time. So my advice when you're at this point where you have a whole floor that's almost done, give yourself the gift of finishing it completely. Get the stuff that does not belong in there out of there, put it as close to possible as you can to where it's ultimately going to live. And even if that creates a little bit more chaos in those areas, at least you can enjoy your main floor. You can sit at your dining room table, you can have a meal and really enjoy the fruits of your labor, the nice, clear space. So that's a great question. Thank you so much for submitting it. And yeah, temporary chaos, big roadblock, but it's one that you can get through. You just have to keep moving forward. Thank you so, so much to everybody who submitted questions today. I think that they were great, so relatable. And just remember, you're worth fighting for. This whole process, you are worth fighting for. If you're fighting to do your to-dos first thing in the morning, you're fighting for yourself. If you are letting go of items that are no longer supporting your life, and it's a really difficult thing, you're fighting for yourself. You're fighting to give yourself the time and the space that you deserve. Period. Keep fighting for yourself. Sending you lots of love. See you next week. Happy decluttering.